Hey guys, our Decline here, average picker. So I've seen this question come up a few times about, mostly from beginner pickers, of course, about what to do about spools or how to pick spools. And I thought I would just do a very brief little tutorial, I guess, thing on it. And there's some really good longer ones out there. A number of people have done them. Bosnian Bill, of course, Helpful Lock Picker has done some really great stuff with picking spools. So there's a lot of more in-depth information, but this is just a quick explanation. And my short answer for this always is just let the lock do the work. The lock will tell you what it needs to do by counter-rotating. Don't fight it. Just let it work. So let me grab this here. Now, depending on when you encounter the spool, it's going to kind of depend on where it is sitting in the chamber, of course. So if our shear line is sitting here in one of these middle sections of the lock, when you lift, say, a standard pin or something, let's say we've only got 2 pins in the lock, we do our lift on a standard, and then all of a sudden we fall into a bit of a false set, so it might cock a little bit sideways. And that tells you that you're in a spool, right? And so you could possibly be in the spool for the one you were just picking, but chances are the shear line was sitting in a different pin in the middle of the spool part, and that's what you just fell into. In which case, when you start to lift it, of course, you're just going to get a little bit of counter rotation, and then the lock's going to fall open or fall to the next dimension of pin that it needs to go to. And so yeah, just let the lock do the work. Now, if the pin is set all the way down, so that means what we're saying here is that our shear line is actually on one of these more fuller diameter portions, then as you lift it, it'll fall a little bit into that false set, and as you push through that, you will start to get that feeling of counter rotation. And that can be a little bit sharper in some cases, a little bit more shallow, a little bit more deep, a little more tapered feeling maybe. So, something like this, it's going to have a smoother feel to it. This is just a standard manufactured pin or a standard manufacturer spool. I think it's out of a Schlage. And because it's got that sharp little drop there, you're going to feel that it's going to be a little bit sharper, a little bit snappier of a pin. So, but otherwise, it's all the same. Just let it do the work, right? You'll get that little bit of a false sense as you start to lift a little bit more. It'll rotate back, and just let it. Don't fight it. Just let it rotate back, and it'll drop. Now, on the off chance, let's say you get that counter rotation and it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, and you end up like that, you may have just gone into an overset. So what you may have had was a spool element on the key pin, and you just pushed up into that, and it's never going to, of course, finish. So if you get that kind of feedback where it just comes up here and ultimately sits, chances are you're into a different type of pin, or you've probably overset something because you didn't get any response back. So you reached some kind of dead end within that combination. But that's for another time to go into more detail on. But anyway, yeah, just a brief little video here looking at picking spools. Don't fight it. The lock will take care of itself.